I wore rags to my grandson's wedding. The bride laughed, but she stopped when the lawyer read the will. The security guard at the gold leaf gate of the Pierre Hotel actually put a hand on my chest to stop me. He was young, broad-shouldered, and looked at me with a mixture of pity and annoyance. "Ma'am, the soup kitchen is 3 blocks over on 5th Street, he said, lowering his voice so the guests stepping out of their limousines wouldn't hear. "This is a private event. You can't be loitering here." I looked down at myself. I couldn't blame him. I was wearing a gray wool coat I'd purchased from a Salvation Army bin for $3. It was 2 sizes too big, the hem was unraveling, and it smelled faintly of mothballs. Underneath, I wore a dress that had seen better decades, and my shoes were scuffed, sensible walkers held together by a prayer. I clutched a purse that was literally taped shut with silver duct tape. To the world, I looked like a woman who had lost everything, a woman who had slipped through the cracks of society. "I'm not looking for soup, young man," I said, my voice raspy but firm. "I'm the grandmother of the groom." The guard blinked. He looked from my tattered scarf to the line of Bentleys rolling up the driveway. Then he laughed, a short, disbelief-filled sound. "Right, and I'm the King of England. Please, move along before I have to call the police." "Check the list," I said, not moving an inch. "Eleanor Vance." He hesitated, mostly because I didn't flinch. He pulled a tablet from his jacket pocket, scrolling down the digital guest list. His finger stopped. His eyes widened. He looked at the tablet, then back at my duct-taped purse. "Vance?" he whispered, "as in the Vance estate?" "Just let me in," I said quietly. He stepped aside, looking as if he'd seen a ghost. I walked up the long driveway, clutching my purse tight against my chest. My heart was hammering, not from fear, but from a deep, aching sorrow. I wasn't poor. I wasn't homeless. In fact, I owned the building I was walking into. I owned the land across the street. My late husband, Harold, and I had built a real estate empire from scratch. But today, I was wearing a costume, because today, I had to find out if the only family I had left loved me, or if they just loved what I could give them. The ballroom was suffocatingly beautiful. Chandeliers the size of small cars hung from the ceiling, casting a golden glow over 300 guests. The air smelled of expensive lilies and roasting prime rib. I stood in the shadows of the entrance, just watching. I saw him across the room, Mark, my grandson. He looked so much like Harold that it made my breath hitch. I remember holding him when he was a baby, his tiny hand gripping my finger. I remember paying for his college, his first car, his first apartment. We had been close, once, before she came along, Jessica. She was standing next to him, radiant in a dress that probably cost more than my first house. She was beautiful, undeniably, but it was a sharp, cold kind of beauty. I took a deep breath and stepped into the light. The reaction was immediate. Conversation stopped mid-sentence, forks lowered to plates, heads turned. I walked slowly through the crowd, hearing the whispers hissing like steam. "Who is that? Is she lost? Oh my God, look at her shoes." I kept my eyes on Mark. He hadn't seen me yet, but Jessica did. Her eyes locked onto my gray coat. Her smile didn't just fade, it curdled. She nudged Mark hard in the ribs. "Mark," she hissed, loud enough for people nearby to hear. "Tell me that isn't who I think it is." Mark turned. When he saw me, his face drained of color. For a split second, I saw shame in his eyes. Not shame for me, but shame of me. "Grandma," he said, his voice cracking, I stopped 5 feet away. "Hello, Mark. You look handsome." Jessica stepped in front of him, acting like a human shield. She looked me up and down with a sneer. "Eleanor, what on earth are you wearing?" "It's all I had, dear," I lied, my voice trembling slightly. "Times have been hard since the pension fund cut back, but I wouldn't miss my grandson's wedding." Jessica let out a shrill, incredulous laugh. She looked around at her friends, inviting them to join the joke. "You look like you just crawled out of a dumpster. This is a black tie event, Eleanor, not homeless chic." The bridesmaids giggled. "I can leave if you want," I said, looking directly at Mark. "I just wanted to see you say your vows." Mark looked at his feet. He was 30 years old, a grown man, but in that moment, he was a coward. "Grandma, maybe you should go change or sit in the back?" "I don't have anything else to change into, Mark," I said softly. Jessica rolled her eyes. "Oh, for heaven's sake. Mark, get her out of the photos. Put her at table 40. Table 40 is in the overflow room," Mark whispered. "By the kitchen." "Exactly," Jessica snapped. "I am not having a bag lady in the background of my videography. It's embarrassing enough that she's here." She leaned in close to me, her perfume cloying and sweet. "Go sit down and don't speak to anyone. If you ask a single guest for money, I will have you thrown out." She turned her back on me. "Okay, everyone, show's over. Let's drink." I was left standing there, clutching my duct-taped purse. I walked to table 40. The overflow room was a sectioned-off area near the service doors where waiters rushed in with dirty dishes. The table wobbled. There was no centerpiece. I sat alone. For an hour, I watched the party from a distance. I watched my grandson spin his new wife around the dance floor. Memories washed over me. I remember when Mark was 22. I had handed him a check for $50,000 to start his life. He had hugged me so hard. "I'll never forget this, Grandma." Then came Jessica. The request started small. A specific ring, a down payment for a condo because the suburbs were too far. I gave and gave because that's what you do for family. But 6 months ago, I decided to stop the flow of money. I told Mark my assets were tied up in a legal dispute. I told him I was cash poor. The visit stopped. The phone calls stopped. And then the wedding invitation arrived with a link to a registry and a text from Jessica. "We know things are tight, so don't worry about a gift. Just try to look presentable." A waiter bumped into my chair, nearly dropping a tray. "Watch it," he grunted, not even looking at me. "Excuse me?" I said. "Could I get a glass of water?" "The bar's closed for the service staff." He walked away. I smiled. A cold, hard smile. "Enjoy it while it lasts." The speeches began at 8 p.m. Jessica took the microphone, standing in the center of the room, basking in the spotlight. "Thank you all for coming," she purred. "It means so much to be surrounded by success tonight." She paused, her eyes flickering toward the kitchen doors, toward me. "You know," she laughed, a cruel sound. "They say you can't choose your family, and honestly, looking around, that's probably a good thing, because some family members are just dead weight." The room went quiet. It was too mean. "But seriously," she continued, "we're building a future, an empire, and we are so grateful for everyone who fits into that picture." She raised her glass. "To the future, and to leaving the trash behind." "To the future," the crowd echoed hesitantly. Mark raised his glass, but he wouldn't look at the back of the room. I stood up. My chair scraped loudly against the floor. I walked past the chocolate fountain, past the ice sculpture, right up to the edge of the dance floor. Jessica lowered the microphone, her face flushing with anger. "Security!" she called out. "Why is she walking over here? Mark, do something!" Mark stepped forward, looking panicked. "Grandma, please, sit down." "I just want to give you your wedding gift," I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it carried. I reached into my duct-taped purse. Jessica scoffed into the microphone.
"What is it? A half-eaten sandwich? Honestly, Eleanor, this is pathetic. You showing up here looking like a beggar is the most selfish thing I've ever seen." I stopped. "A beggar?" I repeated. "Yes," Jessica snapped. "Look at you. It's insulting. We spent thousands on this night, and you treat it like a joke." "Is that how you see me, Mark?" I asked. Mark looked at his wife, then at me. "Grandma," he said, his voice hard, "Jessica is right. It's disrespectful. You should go." The words hit me like a physical blow, but they also cut the last string of guilt I had been holding on to. "Very well," I said. "I will go. But first, I have to give you this." I pulled a thick, cream-colored envelope from my bag. It was pristine, sealed with the red wax stamp of the Vance Corporation. "Mr. Henderson," I called out, "are you here?" From a VIP table near the front, a tall, silver-haired man stood up. Charles Henderson, my lawyer, the most powerful attorney in the city. A murmur went through the crowd. Everyone knew him. "I am here, Mrs. Vance," Mr. Henderson said, his voice deep and commanding. "Mrs. Vance, why is he calling you that?" Jessica looked confused. Mr. Henderson walked on to the dance floor, bowed his head to me, and took the envelope. "Would you like me to read the summary, madam?" "Please," I said, loudly. Mr. Henderson broke the wax seal. He adjusted his glasses and turned to face the bride and groom. "This document," he announced, "is a deed of trust and transfer of assets, prepared 3 months ago by Eleanor Vance." He paused. "It outlines a wedding gift from Eleanor Vance to her grandson, Mark Vance, and his new wife." Jessica's eyes lit up. The greed was instantaneous. She took a step forward. "A gift? The gift," Mr. Henderson read, "includes the title to the Vance estate in the Hamptons, a controlling 51% stake in Vance Logistics, and the deed to the Pierre Hotel, the venue in which we currently stand." The room gasped. A collective intake of breath sucked the air out of the room. Jessica's knees buckled. She grabbed Mark's arm. The hotel?" she stammered. "You own the hotel and the company," Mr. Henderson added. "The total value of the assets is estimated at $140 million. Mark's mouth hung open. "Grandma, but you said money was tight." "I lied," I said simply. "I wanted to see if you loved me without it." Jessica was hyperventilating. Her face transformed. The sneer was gone, replaced with a desperate, fawning smile. "Oh, Grandma!" she cried out, her voice trembling with fake emotion. "Oh, this is too much. I knew it. I knew you were planning something special. That's why you dressed up, isn't it? It was a prank, a hilarious prank." She reached out for the papers. "Mark, baby, look. Your grandmother is a genius." Mr. Henderson pulled the papers back. "I have not finished reading," he said coldly. "There is an addendum," Mr. Henderson said, looking over his glasses at Mark. "Clause 4, Section B. This transfer of assets is conditional upon the beneficiary treating the donor with respect, dignity, and family loyalty, regardless of appearance or financial status." He looked at my tattered coat. He looked at the table by the kitchen door. He looked at Jessica's face. Based on the events of this evening, specifically the verbal abuse, the segregation to the service area, and the attempted removal of the donor, this contract is null and void. And then he did the most satisfying thing I have ever seen. He took the thick stack of papers, he grabbed the top corner. Rip! It was louder than the music. Jessica screamed, "No! What are you doing?" Mr. Henderson tore it again. And again, he dropped the confetti-like pieces onto the dance floor at Jessica's feet. "The assets will remain under the sole control of Eleanor Vance," he stated. "Furthermore, the honeymoon suite you have booked upstairs has been canceled. The owner of the hotel has exercised her right to refuse service." Jessica turned on me. You old witch! You can't do this! We're family!" "Family?" I stepped closer to her. "Family doesn't make you sit by the garbage, Jessica. Family doesn't laugh when you're cold. Family doesn't care if you're wearing rags or silk." I turned to Mark. He was crying silent tears. "I raised you better than this, Mark," I said, my voice cracking. "I taught you to look at a person's heart, not their wallet. You failed the test." "Grandma, please," Mark choked out. "I'm sorry." "You bought peace with your dignity," I told him. "The price was too high." I adjusted my gray coat. "Mr. Henderson," I said, "I'm ready to leave. I believe my driver is waiting." "Driver?" Jessica spat. "You took the bus." "I took the bus to get here, but I think I'll take the Rolls-Royce home." Mr. Henderson offered me his arm. I took it. We walked out of the ballroom, down the center aisle. There was no laughter, no whispers, only a stunned, heavy silence. As I reached the doors, I heard Jessica screaming at Mark, "Do something! She's stealing our money!" I didn't look back. That was 6 months ago. The marriage didn't last long. Once the money was off the table, the love evaporated. Jessica filed for divorce 3 months later. Mark tried to visit me. I didn't let him in. He needs to learn to build his own life. I sold the hotel. I took the proceeds, about $40 million, and started a scholarship fund for students who want to study business. But to get it, they have to volunteer 100 hours at a homeless shelter. They have to learn what it feels like to serve those who have nothing. I kept the gray coat, though. It hangs in the back of my closet, next to my furs. Every morning I look at it. It reminds me of the most important lesson I ever learned. Never let your clothes be more expensive than your character. And never, ever assume the old woman in the corner is powerless. She might just own the building you're standing in.